Gitana Productions Incorporated cultivates individuals that go beyond race and culture to assist others and ultimately to improve the community through global healing, music, and dance in the St. Louis community. Joining us is founder and executive director Cecilia Nadal. Welcome, Cecilia.
Thank you.
So Gitana Productions has been around. You founded it a couple decades ago. Is that right?
That's correct. Back in 1996, I met a young man who was with the Alvin Ailey dance troupe from University City. He had traveled all over the world. He said to me, Cecilia, I think that in St. Louis what we're missing in the arts is the opportunity to bring people together. There are people who do the blues, there are people who do jazz, there are people who do country, and we need to find a way of bringing people of different diversities together.
And so that was your mission.
Absolutely.
22 years ago. So
yes.
Fast forward to today, is that happening?
Absolutely, absolutely. To give you just a couple of examples, in the year 2000, we brought the China National Orchestra to Powell Symphony Hall, and we had a full house. What was amazing about that house is that 1/3 were African American, 1/3 were white American, and 1/3 were Asians. So our work is not just the arts on stage, it is bringing communities together.
The audience.
There you go. So the audience of those three cultures was unbelievable. They planned together, they were educated together, they talked with each other, they shared their individual culture, and it made that entire group of Chinese people in St. Louis really feel like they were part of community.
So this young man that you met 22 years ago from the Alvin Ailey Dance Company obviously hit a nerve with you, or struck a chord, I would say, with you in terms of something that you passionately felt needed to happen in our community.
You're right. You're right. In fact, he had traveled all over the world with the Alvin Ailey Dance Troupe. I come from a background, a mixed background. My father is African and Puerto Rican, and my mother was from St. Louis, and she's Cherokee, Irish, and African American. So we're very diverse.
So
and I was in
you're
the Air
a perfect
Force.
blend, like
there
all,
you go.
like all
there
Americans,
you go.
really.
There you go. And so when we talked with each other about St. Louis, I was in business then, and I actually owned a human resource management company that had been around for 22 years also. And he said, we need someone with a vision of how to make this happen in the long term. And Cecilia, you need to do that because you love the arts.
Yeah.
And I sat back and I thought, producer, I don't think that's going to be the role that I play. But before it was all said and done, it became a passion, and I sold the business that I had to my employees, and I started to work, and I became a poor artist doing this mission in St. Louis. So it's very important.
Do you feel you've been successful?
Absolutely. I think the best measurement for success is how you're recognized by your community. This Wednesday, I'll be going to Jefferson City to receive the top Missouri State Award for Arts Leadership. And that's because of 22 years of grappling at knocking down walls and bringing people together.
Yeah, that's amazing, and what a great honor for you this week in Jefferson City. So you've got a big event coming up, which is a really interesting mix of cultures here that are very important to Missouri.
Yes.
The German Americans, the African Americans, and how they work together. And you're going to have a symposium. We're going to talk a lot more about this in our next segment, but give us a little bit of a preview of what you're doing right now.
Well, maybe I should tell you why we're doing it, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
okay.
Absolutely.
I read a piece by Dr. Sidney Norton that gave an overview of the extent to which Germans contributed to the abolition of slavery in Missouri. And I was shocked. I consider myself to be someone who loves history. And I thought, you know, one of the things about bringing people together is that you celebrate what they do. That's wonderful. And I thought, given this history, we need to bring African Americans and Germans together and celebrate what happened and let it be a first point of dialogue and discussion between the two groups.
Right, and it might be something that people here in St. Louis and in the state of Missouri, we don't know that history. And we all believe a certain truth that perhaps isn't based on historical fact, and that's important to let us know as you're learning and you've learned yourself. We're going to take a quick break right now, Cecilia, but we'll be back in just a moment, so please stay with us at STL Live. We have much more to learn about Gitana Productions and their exciting event coming up after this break.